Hi, 4 5s. Welcome to your first class of music with McIntyre. It's going to be a little bit different, but we're going to get through it. I'm actually having fun with the weird thing. When I'm at home, I wear earrings. I really don't wear earrings when we have our masks on because it gets caught all the time. I know, old lady problems. I'm going to give you a few minutes to get a few things. First, you're going to want to get your recorder. You don't really need your bag, but that's probably what it's in. First, you need your recorder. You have 2 handouts that you just got from school. They look like this. Can you get both of them? And a pencil. A pencil matters. If you'd like to get also a highlighter, that's an option. Yellow, my favorite. But a highlighter, that's optional. The other thing you're going to need to find is your old handout that looks like this. We started it last time that we were homeschooling. We did not finish it, but we're going to kind of use this to review because for most of you, you haven't really played with it. I haven't played with my recorder since last January. So can you take a second and just go get that stuff, and I'll be right here when you get back. Hi, 4 5s. So we're kind of setting up for a 2-week stretch, right? We've got a ways to go. So there's a couple of things that we're going to work through today and give you some time to work on yourself. So fine arts is 30-minute blocks. If I talk for a whole 30 minutes, you guys need more time off the computer, not more time on the computer. So I'm going to go with some other music teachers that are instructing or talking or leading for about 10 to 15 minutes at a time, and then giving you something to do. Does that make sense? Like an activity to do where you can walk away from the computer if you want, or you could stay if you needed to. So for today's lesson, because I have to have it kind of taped, or some of them taped, did you know that some schools only do taped? I don't know about that. That might be weird. There's a few things I want you to play with a little bit as a reminder. So this is our first lesson for like a 2-week arc, right? I want you to get your recorder out and play with it a little bit. There's a couple of things that you might have forgotten about. Some things might be twisted funny. So let's just review that really quick. If there's a hole on the back, I want you to cover it with your thumb. Now it's going to be, I do my left hand at the top. I think everyone does. You should do your left hand at the top. So your thumb goes over here. And then you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and put your pinky at the back. Some people have it out. I find it easier to hold if it's at the back, so I can do this. Right? You can hold it. While your fingers are on there, take a second to just look down and make sure that your head of it, the part you blow in, is actually straight. Mine's actually a little bit crooked. It twists, right? It'll be sticky, but it'll twist. So just make sure that it actually is straight. Okay, and there's another piece we need to move perhaps too, so stay with me here. Only the 3 fingers, pinky is for stability. That's what I use it for. Again, 1, 2, 3, and this 4 piece here. This bottom piece moves for a reason. As we're different ages and our fingers are different sizes, sometimes it's hard to cover that. So if I just had it straight, you see that? It would be awkward for my pinky to cover. Like you'd have to stretch for it to cover, and that's awkward. My pinky naturally wants to go here. Do you see that? So I'm actually going to turn it until it's where my pinky finger, you see where it is now? Naturally lands. I might even turn it a little bit more to have it where my pinky lands. Now, be careful not to pull it out. You want to just twist the angle of it so that now when you look, see how it looks, this one's crooked? That's okay. That's where it's supposed to be. Don't line it up. If it's lined up all the way, it'll be too hard to get your pinky all the way over on it, okay? There's 2 holes on it. I want you to cover both at this point. We are not going to university for recorders today, so we're just going to cover up both, okay? I want you to practice playing covering all of them just to hear what it sounds like, even though that might not be the first note that we play. But take some time doing a soft breath, like, don't think like you're blowing into a whistle. If you do that, it's going to squeak like this. Are you ready? Plug yours. That's not cool. It's not what it's supposed to sound like. I want a much softer. Almost like you're just breathing out, but you're breathing out through your mouth. Did you hear the difference? Remember we talked about pitch, right? So high, low, high, low. Make sure you've got them all covered. Make sure your thumb is fully covering that. Now, if your finger starts to hurt, give it a second, right? Give it a second. We're gonna have lots of time. I want you to first start off just by practicing having all your fingers off, all your fingers on, and blowing that gentle blow. When we play higher, the recorder can handle you blowing a little bit harder, but we really want to have control of that. The other thing we're going to work on and just kind of play with today, since I can't be with you anyway, do you see that little hole at the top? That's where the air goes in. The air comes out here, but the air goes in here. I want you to put your tongue on it. So I hope this is yours. Welcome to COVID. Put your tongue on it. That's not going to look like that. But when you put it in your mouth, I want you to stop the air with your tongue. It's literally called tonguing. I used to do this all the time when we played trumpet, and it's so useful. Who else is clarinet? A little bit maybe. Saxophone maybe a little bit. But really more of those air horned instruments where you need to blow. Flute, all over the place. Flute does this. So we're going to put our tongue to stop the airflow going in there. Otherwise, it's just going. But when you want to have kind of a crisp end to the air, you're putting your tongue in there to stop the airflow and then start it and stop it and start it. So try having all your fingers on, if you can. Try it. Put your tongue on, close your lips over it, and just blow. Keep your lips on, but I'm going to move my tongue on and off that little space. Listen. Oh, I'm blowing a bit too hard. Did you hear that? When you hear the whoop, 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 that's because I'm blowing too hard. I have to calm down, settle down, and blow a little bit more gently. Okay? I can do it wrong too. Just don't tell anyone. Try it a little bit higher. So the first note we learned last time was a B. So it's just like this. Finger and thumb, first one only. You can hold it gently at the bottom where there's no hole. Or you can put your finger back. I like to put my finger here. Try it again. So make sure your tongue is on the hole. Thump, 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 thump against there while you're blowing. You hear how you can stop the note exactly when you want it, rather than little kids just use, or people who are learning, just use their cheek air to start and stop. It's like, see how my cheeks are moving? As you get better or more older, able to control your mouth a little bit better, you're going to use your tongue, okay? You don't see my cheeks moving because I'm using my tongue to start and stop that air, okay? It also means I can breathe in through my nose without affecting any of the sound in here, because when I breathe in through my nose, I can stop any air with my tongue. So when I breathe in, my tongue is on top of this. Okay, let's just get familiar with us today. You've been with me for about 8 minutes. I'm not done yet. But you will have a chunk of fine arts time left, in which I want you to just review what we did last time and play with this. I really do want you to do your fingers up and down. See if you can. It's kind of fun. It gets kind of weird when you're up at the very top, but practice going up and down. Sometimes I say, well, grade 3ers, but none of you are grade 3 now. Go all the way up with your fingers and all the way down. And it'll take a while. And it might help if you're in the bathroom. Lock the door so no one can get at you. And practice watching your fingers going up. Practice doing it with one hand, and then practice doing it with the other hand. This will help, but don't memorize this right now. Just play with your fingers. You'll get to learn what sounds right, and that blowing hard, especially when you're in a bathroom where it's really echoey, it will really make you aware of not needing to like blast this thing. This is not a phys ed whistle, right? This is not what this is for. You can take it apart and blow into the top, and it's super annoying and really high. Maybe your siblings need you to do that now and then. But for class, we need to practice that gentle airflow, that idea of having control. It's why I think musicians tend to be able to find that place of calm and relax when they're playing, because you have to be relaxed to play this, okay? So that's your first assignment for today. Just explore with that. Make sure that this is where you need it to be, okay? Thumbs on the back, left hand at the top. Review that stuff on your own, and in front of a mirror is great. This is your assignment today. So if your parent is like, stop that blasted noise, you can say, Mom, Miss McIntyre said I had to. We're going to go over this again. So real quick, this is what the first page looks like. I had us highlight. If you forgot, that's okay. What we did is the first, the second, and the third note. B-A-G. Super simple, spells bag. Don't call me a bag. It's just a coincidence. The B, the A, and the G. Okay? If you weren't here, I hope you can see that. So this one says the back finger and the first top hole, the back finger in the first 2 holes, the back finger in the first 3 holes. Remember, that's not hard, but I want you to practice that. So go over the front sheet. You can look this over if you want. There is no test, but look this over if you want, okay? The other thing I want you to go over is the second page, all about the recorder. We read this together last time. Don't stress it. But about recorder care, take just a glance over that. If there's one rule of thumb, no heat, okay? No heat, no scrubbing. The only thing that will be inside of this recorder is your hot air, which sometimes can be stinky. Not very often, and a lot of you don't spit on them. You really don't. There's 3 parts to it for most of us. You can take them apart, you don't have to. A small bit of dish soap and some warm water. That's it. Rinse it out, let it air dry. No dishwasher. If you put it in the dishwasher, some of your recorders will melt and warp and they will be broken. So don't do that. You don't need to stress about cleaning it every day or taking it apart every time. If you're curious and you want to, go ahead. But it's not necessary. It's not an assignment. Now, it says let's begin. Last time, I'm just going to point out what we did last time. We did this one. We did this one. We played it. If you're new, you can practice that on your own. See where it says 3? Why is this light so funky today? 3. We did this one, and I said if you wanted, you could look at G, and you could play just this piece. Okay? And that's where we ended. That's where we ended it. So for today, if there's nothing else you do, and you only have to do 30 minutes of fine arts, and even that is optional, because really I want you to be comfortable with your maths and your sciences and your socials and some of that stuff. This is for fun. So if this is not being fun, don't spend extra time. If it is fun for you, go ahead and do more. On this one, for today, you're just going through it and stopping at the end of 4, just G. Do that one. See if you can, there's a repeat there, so play it through 2 times, take a break, play it through 2 times, take a break. It doesn't have a tempo here, but if you're feeling adventurous or you want something to play with, ask a parent if you can get any type of metronome, tick, 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 remember those? Any type of metronome app on a phone or a tablet or your laptop. They're pretty simple. They don't take up a lot of space. I like having a metronome in the background. Remember we talked about andante? That's that gentle walk, about a 90, right? 90 is the number. This is what it would sound like in the background. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. I don't know if you know, this one has dots that move at the top too. So sometimes if I'm learning, I might slow it down or speed it up. At the beginning, of course, I'd slow it down. And that helps me keep my 4/4 time when I'm reading notes, especially when there is half notes, because a half note is 2 beats, remember? So, ready? Ta, 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 ah, ta, 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 ah. It helps me count. That's me. I find that if I am learning a recorder piece and I don't have a metronome on, I tend, you're gonna laugh at me, I tend to do this. I'm like counting with my whole body and I'm like jerking this up and down. That's not so great. But I find that I do better if I just get a simple metronome. There's a bunch of different metronome apps. I don't care which one. Free. That's what matters the most. Simple and free. This one is called the Natural Metronome. It automatically, let's see what the icon is. Looks like that. It automatically came up with 4/4 rhythm, and at the bottom I could choose the tempo. So if I wanted it to be faster, I could go faster. So with something like this, if I was learning a hard piece, I would start it at that andante 190, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could slow it down a tiny bit until I learned the song, but then I could challenge myself by getting faster and faster, just for funsies, right? Just for funsies, because you know what? You're stuck at home for 2 weeks, and the pools aren't open yet, and the library's closed, and a lot of stuff that you should probably want to do might not be open. So if that's something that interests you, totally play with it. But if it doesn't interest you, that's okay. All right? So you have about 15 minutes left, maybe a little bit less. For 15 minutes, reacquaint yourself. I'm giving you permission to be a tiny bit loud. But remember, if you blow too hard, it's just going to squawk. We don't want to squawk. We want to have whoo, whoo. And then you get your tongue in there so that you can stop air, right? Stop, start air with your tongue. That's all you have to do today. I will see you tomorrow, I think. And see you in person, I believe, tomorrow. If this video doesn't work, that's okay. We're going to be okay. Not the end of the world. If you have a pencil, I love it when you make notes right on here. Remember this handout? The main one where it's okay to write on it. I love it when you guys write in the notes that we're supposed to be playing. Write in the letter notes there. That's not cheating. You write in B, 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 B. You write it in there. The more you see it in 2 ways, we know that a note on the middle line is a B. Well, we might have forgotten, but you can always remind yourself, because you know what? It doesn't really say it there, but it does say it on the 2nd page. I've given you all the answers, okay? All the answers are literally on your sheet. So you don't need anything else. You don't need to look it up or Google it or feel like you have to know it. You don't have to know it. What's on here is enough, okay? But I love it when kids use their pencils and write on their stuff, because it means they were thinking and they were like making it work for them. That means a lot to me. So I'm going to sign off now. I love my bells. You want to hear it again? This is Music with McIntyre. Go have fun with your recorder, and if your mom is not enjoying it, just remind her that you love her and give her a hug. And lock the bathroom door if you're in there using a recorder against the mirror, because then people can't come in and interrupt you. Anyway, I hope you have fun today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.